Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of what will be a brief boss run on the second half of Dark Souls. This is a follow-up of my original video covering the battle against Super Ornstein. As for my build, I like to run a mid-equipment load Pyromancer with a great shield over turrets and various weapons. For this to be possible, I have to wear the Havel's Ring and the Ring of Favor and Protection. But enough to chat. The first boss I'll be covering is Priscilla the Crossbreed. Lore-wise, I think she's the crossbreed of a god and a dragon, but the deities in Anor Londo feared her life hunt's ability, so they locked her up in the painted world of Eriamis. She's an optional boss, in the sense that she's not hostile unless provoked. But I'm running a sort of a renegade, dark, evilish playthrough, so I'm gonna go ahead and slay her because I like her drop so much. Well, she drops her soul, which can be used to forge the life hunt scythe. And if you cut her tail, she drops Priscilla's dagger. Both weapons have amazing bleed build-up and deal 50% of total HP when they cut the bleed effect. The tricky part of this fight is that she has the ability to turn invisible, and although you can usually see her footprints, she's pretty fragile at this point in the game, so it's easy to finish her off before cutting her tail. If you stagger her, however, she turns visible for a short amount of time, so I'll be aiming to do that in order to cut her tail. Well, let's see how this goes. Let's be off. As you can see, this is not fog, but white light. But so she's not hostile. She actually wants to talk.
Who art thou? One of us thou art not. If thou hast misstepped into this world, plunge down from the plank and hurry home. If thou seekest I, thine desires shall be requited not.
So behind her there's a plank you can jump off in order to get back to Anor Londo, but we won't be doing that. Instead we'll take this, look right here, and try to... Okay, let's see. If I do with these, there's that. Let's see if I can use that to cut her tail. Strikes right ahead. Few meters, like 2 meters. Let's see if we can get a good first strike on her tail. Alright guys.
I expected as much, Jumbo. Why dost thee hurry toward thine death?
Oh, I'm not hurrying toward my death. Oh, I'm not hitting her. This is not good. Not good at all. The Priscilla. You see, you can use knives to stagger her. Although it doesn't seem to be working right now. I need to do a few hits in a row. Oh, there you go. Nice tail you have. And you actually have to hit the tip of the tail. There. Now she'll be a a good crossbreed and die. If she wants, that is. Show up, you foul enemy. Oh, there you go. She's actually some kind of Japanese fetish. Weird ass furry. I mean, I can see no way that came from a dragon. She's got little horns, but dragons aren't furry. Neither are gods. She's got a cat tail. And then practically.
But why? What's that?
I'm sorry, Priscilla. You can practically. See the cat ears fandom will be doing. Oh, the Rule 34 thing. Well, that was Priscilla. Now let's go on to the next boss. Bye-bye. Come on, just jump. The next boss we're going to be tackling is the Four Kings. And if you notice a change in ambient lighting, it's because I'm recording on different hours and days, so don't give it too much thought. These guys were kings in New London and were bestowed a good chunk of Queen's Lord Soul in recognition of their service. But peace in the city didn't last too long because Darkstalker Keith seduced the Four Kings, leading them to believe that by hoarding humanity and spreading the abyss, they'd rule even more powerful and absolute. Thus, their knights became the Dark Wraiths that terrorized the citizens of New London, and the abyss began to spread. In response to this, Lord Green decided to flood the city in order to halt its progress. To walk the abyss, where you'll find the Four Kings, you need Artorias' Covenant Ring. And once there, one giant king appears before you and a timer sets out. Roughly a minute later, a second king will appear, unless you've already killed the first king, in which case the second king will appear immediately. After the second, two kings appear at once. At every minute a new king spawns till there are four or the large health bar at the bottom of the screen depletes. Now there are actually some frames of their dying animation in which you can hit a king to add some more damage to the whole, so it's technically possible to face only one king and deplete the whole bar. So let's give it a try. So yeah, the entrance to the abyss is a large well. Nicer. These stairs just go on forever, and you can just drop, because if you do, you'll almost certainly land on these chunks here and just cause fall damage. Also, did you know that if you remove Artorias' ring inside the abyss, you'll die with a different animation? I won't be trying that, but it's cool to know. So, let's go. I actually died back there. But I think these guys are weak to fire, so I'm gonna give it another go. Man, they hit. Not hard, but they hit a lot. If it's closer to them, they'd actually hit a lot harder. I'm not, which is a bliss, like ignorance about the existence of this game. There's the second king. Okay. See how little damage my sword does? First time I went against these guys, I was using Krillek's Fury Sword, and I cut through them like butter. Not this time. Oh, they're bastards this time. I don't even busted that sword, so... Oh, right behind me. It's classic. Some Estus. Come on. I have another king right behind me. Actually, they're not that hard. So there, just a few more hits of the grab attack. If you mash RB and LB, you get out of the grab faster. That's actually a useful tip. This. Let's finish this. And there we go, guys. It was hard fought. Took me 2 tries. But I guess you can say it went pretty well. Oh, look at that. You see, if, like me, you haven't spoken to Frampt after retrieving the locked vessel, Darkstalker Kaith herself will appear, and you can actually join her covenant for cool items and more insight to the story. So let's give it a go. A bonfire appears at the middle of nowhere.
Greetings, undead warrior. I am the primordial serpent, Darkstalker Kath. I can guide thee and illuminate the truth. The truth I shall share without sentiment. After the advent of fire, the ancient lords found the 3 souls, but your progenitor found a 4th, unique soul, the Dark Soul. Your ancestor claimed the Dark Souls and waited for fire to subside, and soon the flames did fade, and only dark remained. Thus began the Age of Men, the Age of Dark. However, Lord Gwyn trembled at the dark, clinging to his Age of Fire and in dire fear of humans, and the Dark Lord who would one day be born amongst them. Lord Gwyn resisted the course of nature by sacrificing himself to link the fire and commanding his children to shepherd the humans. Gwyn has blurred your past to prevent the birth of the Dark Lord. I am the primordial serpent. I seek to right the wrongs of the past, to discover our true Lord. But the other serpent, Frampt, lost his sense and befriended Lord Gwyn. Undead warrior, we stand at a crossroads. Only I know the truth about your fate. You must destroy the fading Lord Gwyn, who has coddled fire and resisted nature, and become the 4th Lord, so that you may usher in an age of dark.
Not suspicious at all. You actually never know who's lying to you in this game, but I'll go with it because I've already done a playthrough with Front. By the way,
Very well. I shall now guide you to Gwyn's prison. Be still, and trust
oh, this is
thine
gonna be
flesh to
disgusting.
me.
By the way, he was talking about the furtive pygmy. I think he's the creator of humanity. I've taken a slight detour from the main story of the game and will be covering the DLC Artorias of the Abyss. So we're basically grabbed by a mysterious monster's hand and taken to the long-lost land of Oolacile. And there isn't much to say about the first boss in this area. It's basically a manticore-looking beast that shoots lightning and guards the entrance to the sanctuary of Oolacile. You can cut its tail to get a poisonous whip, but if you don't, it's not so terrible because two of them respawn later in the same spot. Well, I've never gotten the whip, but who knows, maybe we'll have luck this time. As you can see, I'm using now the life-hand scythe I forged from Priscilla's soul. I have to wear it in tandem with the Bloodbite ring, because it also causes me to bleed. I didn't know this prior to forging it. So here it is. See how hard it is to cut its tail? It's always sudden. And if that attack hits you, you lose lots of stamina. I'm gonna use thread view. I have no idea how I'm gonna get that tail. And that lightning really hurts. He also has an attack in which... oh, there's the tail. You see how hard it is to get to it? Such aggression. What a majestic beast. That's where it has another attack in which it shoots like a volley of lightning. Certainly impossible. And that's kind of the only attack that leaves it still exposed. I'm still gonna give it a go. Oh. There's also that one. But it seems unlikely to time it. So I just have to wait until it uses its flying attack. I'm not gonna fall for it. The volley. Flying attack. Yes, free hit on the tail. Let's try it. Yes, use the attack. Ouch. Okay, I'm gonna... oh fuck. Oh my god. I'm doing worse than I expected on this fight. But it's not so bad. It's just the fact that a shield can hit the lightning. There, severed its tail. I'm so happy about that. Means I won't have to do this horrible fight again. I actually love this side. deals lots and lots of damage. It has incredible reach. That is the finish. Yet. See how much stamina it drains? There it is, guys. Not very hard. You have to time your strikes right if you want the whip. And this is actually the only boss zone in which you can't forge a weapon with it. So it's best just to consume it. As you can see, guys, I'm pretty deep into the forest of Oolacile, approaching the next boss, Artorias himself. But it seems we've run out of time, so we'll have to leave that for another video. And hey, if you like what you've seen, leave a like and a comment on what you'd like to see next. See ya, guys!